Good afternoon. My name's Tony Cardenas, and this is the Indianapolis Real Estate Market Weekly Update. Today I'm sitting here with Shelly Walters from eXp Realty in Carmel, Indiana, and Kyle Morris with FC Tucker, Carmel, Indiana. How's it going today, guys?
It's going great. I mean, snow yesterday, 80 this weekend. I don't know what to make of it anymore.
Oh, yeah, it's a little cool this morning when I got up about 5:30 to let the dog out. Shelly, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Yes, I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Okay, guys, let's kind of jump into it. But how was last weekend when you were showing houses or talking to customers? Let's talk about that before we go into the stats. Kind of give us a update. Kyle, why don't you kick it off?
So for last weekend, actually, it was a little bit different week, right? Because there was a holiday and more homes hit the market Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday than usually do, right? Usually I think we see locally a lot of houses go on the market on Thursday. But, as I go through the numbers, one of the things we were talking about before this is I've actually seen that trend continue this week. A lot of houses went on the market yesterday and today. So in Fishers, for example, so we had 36 go on the market and 16 have pended, right? So wow. 20 of them are still active. So that's another thing. A lot carried through the weekend. Last week in particular, our numbers were also a little bit different last week, right? We did it on Friday. We're back to our usual schedule. And so it's interesting. Some of those are carryovers from the last podcast, quite honestly, right? And then Noblesville, we had 34 total and 17 of those have pended. So right at half, 17 of them are still active. So a lot carried through the weekend there as well. And so one of the things is that because of the weekend, because of the holiday weekend, or is that starting to become a new trend? I will say this. For Noblesville in particular, it is really heavy for new construction listings right now. There's probably a 50% uptick in Noblesville in particular for new construction.
Wow, that's great, though. It gives a little bit of opportunity for people to look at some new homes. And, the outcome of these homes can take up to 1 year to build.
Yeah, depending on what size and who the builder is.
And because I would doubt that there's very few out there for sale that are 90 days out there, not sold already.
Some of the builders will do that. They sell them as a spec and they're almost selling them in like a car lot, right? Some of the builders are doing that, but it's really interesting. I would say that one of the things I went and showed a Lennar townhome this weekend, and they are kind of in between what they're doing, right? And so they're not really selling it like a car lot. They have a first, second, and third that you can be in and to have like a first right. And then on top of that, they're only selling certain amounts of it. But it's a little bit interesting. I feel like some of the builders have gotten away from the lottery system.
Yeah, I think that's starting to happen. What are you kind of hearing out there, Shelly? What's going on?
I haven't seen the lottery system for a while, so I think that shows we're kind of slowing down or getting more organized in how things are working, not, having problem with all the types of materials that aren't coming in.
So what do we have going on in how many houses were listed in Carmel?
Carmel had 46 listed in the past week, so that was the same as the week before, actually. On them, there are still 10 active. So in Westfield, 30 were listed, still active 12.
Wow.
So in Zionsville, again, they are only 15, still active 5, so a little quieter over there. But this is showing that there's a little bit more staying on the market than before. And I will say I'm seeing a lot more back on market. Not sure what those causes are, but that's always interesting to see that start to happen again. And I do want to say I actually had a phone call today talking about new builds and had somebody who called me today. They just built a house completely, just finished it, and it was done about 2 weeks ago, and now they have to turn around and sell it. So there is
that's crazy.
Yeah, and so the funny thing is it's worth more than they started, of course.
Of course, but
it's in Westfield, $469, and brand new build you could get and move right in. You don't have to go through that process. So
somebody needs to get a hold of you on that one.
Yeah,
ASAP.
yeah.
Warranties convey.
Warranties everything. It's a pocket listing we got this morning. So great opportunity on that one.
When we're talking about in the mortgage business, because I'm with PRMG Mortgage out of Carmel, Indiana. I'm on more the development side, but the interest rates are up right now. But I'll tell you what people are starting to do, and they're starting to look at the 7-year ARM and the 10-year ARM. It's an instrument out there to get a mortgage where somebody can save a little bit of money. But let's talk about what you guys are hearing in the market. What are people saying about interest rates, or do they ask you how much a house will cost before they go out? What about the pre-approvals? Let's kind of back into that a little bit.
Well, I would say a lot of the agents need to pay attention to that because some of the things in our listings that were over the weekend that we started closing out had old pre-approvals. And as a listing agent, I'm looking at these dates and calling the agent and asking, we need to get an updated pre-approval. And they're asking me why. So you just really need to have an agent that's up to date with where we are in this market. And, we again keep saying, in December, they were, 2.7, and now you just said 5.37. So that's a huge difference.
Sure it is. Well, that's also subject to your loan to value and your credit score and everything. But at the end of the day, interest rates are up. Houses are still selling fast. A year ago, what were you getting? 20, 30 offers on a house?
Yep.
Or maybe even, 4 months ago. How many offers are we getting on houses right now, Kyle, that you've experienced in the last week?
I feel like it's more 5 to 12.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very house specific, first of all. And there's still definitely the houses that get 30 and 40. It's just not every house anymore, right? I do think buyers, due to the interest rates and a little bit of fatigue, and I feel like all the consumers have stopped having as much of a knee-jerk reaction to the market. So I think that interest rates have scared people a little bit, but we were saying I think the next 90 days is actually a great time to buy because the rest of the market has gotten scared. It's thinned the herd a little bit. And so I think it's a really good time as a buyer to be out there and be super, super active. However, one of the things, the selling season has started early the past 2 years. Like last year it started,
Sure.
Into March. This year it started into February, right? But really for inventory, so that was more the buying season, right? Or the selling season started
Right.
early. This is where a lot of the houses start to come on market this week, right? So like as crazy as the market has been, it starts this week.
Exactly. You're exactly
Well,
right.
we saw a big uptick in the past couple of weeks, actually. So just as soon as spring break ends, I think everybody's moving on to the next stage. And we also know a lot of people still need to move when school's out. So we're looking at a 30-day close right now, get into the house, get settled, and then you go into the thing. I want to say that one thing I want to let buyers know is they need to really, really be cognizant of my listings that are listing between 250 and 350. We are getting less offers and we're getting a less above list price. We're getting much closer, hugging the actual list price. Those are the price points where people have higher interest rates and they don't have as much buying power. So if you are,
but they're still going to sell pretty quick, don't you
they're
think?
going to sell quick, but buyers need to feel comfortable that they can go in and compete. Maybe it's a lot less competitive price wise. They are not escalating,
Exactly.
$50,000
Exactly.
higher. They're only escalating maybe 15 to 20,000, even less than that. So buyers, go out and go for it. Don't worry about it. It is slowing down in that price point because of the ability to buy going away a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I think the big thing is everybody's tired and discouraged when this is really the time to be encouraged, right?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
let's
Absolutely.
just wash the past couple months off of us, right?
Right.
Cleanse ourselves,
Right.
And then let's get after it.
Go get a pre-approval and figure out what you can afford. Get out there and make an offer.
Well, Tony, too,
Jump
that
on
goes
it
back
quick.
to making sure that you look at all your ability to what your mortgage processes could be.
Right.
Like you said,
You get more buying power on an ARM. I don't care what anybody says, but also understand you have to have more down payment with an ARM. But the bottom line is it's a better rate. But
Just make sure you're talking to your lender about
right,
every
and make sure they know
possibility.
the ARMs. Make sure they know the adjustment because the ARM's going to be fixed for either 5, 7, or 10 years. Understand what your adjustments are. Will we have another refinance boom? Of course we will. Look at the Wall Street Journal. It tells you exactly what they do every year.
Yep.
Okay, every 4 or 5 years, whatever the case is. I always feel safe on a 7-year ARM or a 10-year ARM. I'm not so safe on a 5.
Well, we've talked about it before. Don't you normally move by then anyway?
7 years,
Well,
5 to 7. Well, and
Exactly.
I think the other thing, to Shelly's point is, you got to have an agent who's your advocate, right? And is explaining the loan product you have for the purchase. We were talking about it beforehand. VA
Absolutely.
loan. VA loan. There's such a misnomer with it. It's one of the best loan products out there. I have so many veterans who are sitting there, they're putting 0% down because they've earned this benefit, right? They've put their life on the line. They signed up
Absolutely.
to lose their life for this country, and they're taking advantage of this benefit. And there's a misnomer in the industry that it's bad. I have so many have liquid assets to cover appraisal gaps and all this stuff.
Sure.
And you got to have an agent who is explaining to the other agent what our abilities are.
Absolutely. And I've actually seen it where they say they won't accept a VA loan, and it's because of the perception that, oh, they don't have a down payment. No, they earned the ability not to have a down payment. So they're a very good buyer.
Yep, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Well, the only thing I can tell everybody is if you're in the market to buy a home right now, it is time to jump on and get the fresh inventory, because when somebody's selling their home in July or August, why didn't they do it in the beginning of the spring? What do you guys experience off of that? I mean,
I think we still go back. Yeah, I think we go back to the fact that they don't know what to do. They haven't found a house yet, and they're afraid they're going to be homeless. And again, Kyle and I know how to get your house sold and not make you homeless, make you be able to stay in your house a couple of months after you've sold and find that new house. So you can list at any time.
Yeah. Let's call it for what it is, human nature. Ain't nobody trying to move when it's cold either.
Well, that's exactly right.
And we got snow yesterday, so it's every time it snows, it sets us back a couple of weeks because everybody's like, okay, wait, it's still not spring.
I know. So. Exactly. People are like, I don't remember it snowing in April. And I was like, last year, the year before that. It snows in April.
Well, and I do the Sweetwater Cordery Market. We just can't get started down there because nobody's getting that lake feel.
Exactly.
This weekend, I'm just waiting. It's going to finally be time for that.
Yeah. Well, some things that we're going to be talking on the next two shows is that we're going to talk about new home builders, what we're seeing under construction, like right outside of our building here. They have a bunch of condominiums that are for sale, and they're starting at about $545,000 on up for a flat, and what other homes and condominiums are going around in Carmel. We're going to touch on Fishers and a couple of the areas that you deal with, Kyle. Isn't that McCordsville?
Yes, sir, it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I deal with everywhere, but I live out there, yeah.
Right. And then next week, we're going to jump on the Indianapolis section of Broad Ripple, Meridian Kessler. We're really going to dig down to Mass Avenue, downtown market, what's going on. So here's my biggest question. Shelly, if they want to, let's go Kyle first. Kyle, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Just call or text 317-649-5122.
And the reason I jumped over to you versus Shelly is because Shelly's going to take us out.
That's right.
Okay, I always have to have Shelly on the end of the show. Shelly, if they're going to get a hold of you, what's the name of your company and how do they get a hold of you?
You can reach me anytime. Shelly Walters Realty Group. My cell phone's 317-201-2601. Have a great day and a great week.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into our podcast this week. This show has been brought to you by America's Best Mortgage by PRMG Mortgage. We're here in Carmel, Indiana. Our telephone number is 317-214-6720, and also by Executive Portfolio Magazine.